And I think we're live. Yes. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone who's watching and everyone who's going to watch later. My name is Tjitske de Vries, and we are here again with Vladimir Parfenov, who is going to be talking us through another bit of AI. About 2 weeks ago, we started the first episode of our three-part series about AI. We talked a little bit about what is AI and what is generative AI. We had a little chat about like how it's being used, how you can use it, and how you can use it safely. And today we're diving a little bit deeper into AI. We're going through a little bit more about how to train AI models. What are AI models? I think that's something we can start with because that is another one that is another term that we hear a lot that might not be super clear for everybody. So we're going to talk a little bit about how are they trained, what are they. Then we're going to go a little bit into really your area, I think, which is post-training. How do companies use these models for cool stuff or for just really useful stuff? And at the end, we're going to talk a little bit about vulnerabilities and issues that come with training AI models. So, Vladimir, thank you so much for coming back. I'm very excited to do the second episode, and in a couple of weeks, we have the third episode. How are you in the first place? How are you?
I'm great, thanks, and thanks for having me again.
No
It's a pleasure.
problem. It's great to have you. I was just saying to Vladimir, I am a, getting a little bit sick, so if my voice just cuts off halfway, I will try to do some kind of sign language and we can just continue doing this live.
Get well, get well.
We will do it. We will soldier through this. So let's start at the beginning and let's talk a little bit about AI models. What are AI models? And then we can go a little bit into how to train them. So what are AI models and where would you see them?
Okay, there is good explanation provided by Andrei Karpathy, who is one of co-founders, as far as I know, of OpenAI, and who's like, uh, let's say, genius in this area.
Hmm.
And he has good explanation that he mentions that basically it's just a zip file. Let's say
Hmm.
so,
Hmm.
and we have a model. It's basically the file that contains kind of internet, let's
Hmm.
say. Uh, and the thing is that internet is big.
Yeah.
So we have so much data around the internet, not only on even companies' servers, right, but
Hmm.
also on the way how other personal computers work and how they store their information. Like all of this is basically internet information, and the way how to just take all of it and put it in one file, it sounds like a magic kind of.
Yeah.
And to me, it's still magic, to be honest. I'm not
Yeah.
that deep into that machine learning, like under the ground, how it works. And it's still at some point magic to me. But there is quite simple explanation. We just try to take as much data from the internet as possible, from websites, articles, like starting with Wikipedia and
Hmm.
other sources. Take all of it, process it, and what's the kind of important step? Compress it, because we haven't. I don't have even a rough representation in my mind how many terabytes and petabytes of data is in the internet right now.
Hmm.
But model, it's some file. It has some finite size,
Hmm.
right? And I like to see this as a human's brain.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of information, but we have it will be too rude, but we have small brain to contain all of this. Let's
True
be
though.
honest. Let's
It's
be honest.
true.
Yeah, it's true. It's true though. Yeah, we have small brain, and there is so much information around
Mhm.
us, and somehow we able to hold some of this,
Mhm.
right? Not all of this. If we read the book, we cannot remember word by word what we've read. We remember some idea, and we remember like what was this book about, and some interesting quotes if they are really great ones. So this is basically how model um, is like. What is this? It's basically the set of information that the model as brain remembered in
Mhm.
some way. Of course, it can make mistakes, as we are as humans. If we remember something, we could be sure 100% that it was like that written in that book.
Yeah.
But sometimes it turns to that it was a lie.
Yeah.
So the model is compressed version of the internet, and the technology behind this is neural networks, machine learning.
Mhm.
So basically, it's the way how our brain works, some
Mhm.
parts of this brain, let's say, the parts that we know. And this is neural networks. It's technology that allows not to just memorize all the information, but more to understand what information is correct in
Mhm.
some certain way. I hope it's something that's understandable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I really like the connection to our actual brain and how these things work. And do you think, because you were talking about like understanding things, and you like AI really understands the data that is in there, or is that, can we not say understand because it's not an actual human brain?
You
Sorry if that's
already
a bit of
sound
a
you already understand. You already understand this the tricky point. Yeah, you're already professional AI user, let's say, because you got the right point. It's quite hard to tell that AI understands
Hmm.
something. AI, it's something like predicts what's next.
Mm-hmm.
If we talk about I don't know, about Christmas, right? If we start this topic, we'll probably see from AI that there is a presence, there is a dates around that, and some
Mm-hmm.
cultural difference. Or like maybe many things could be there. But basically, it takes something and tries to predict what's next.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even sure that could we clarify this as a AI understands
Mm-hmm.
the context, right? But we at the same time, I'm thinking like, is it how my brain works as well? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
if you ask me a question, right, it's not like how I understand this question, because my answer is basically the logical
Mm-hmm.
next steps to your questions. Like you
Yeah.
send me tokens, and I respond with relevant tokens. This is
Mm-hmm.
how AI works, and maybe I'm not that thinkable person, right? And
Mm-hmm.
also predicting what will be next. So yeah, this is probably because of the similar this technology of neural networks. It's basically representation of how our brain works. Maybe there is no border between this and like understanding and
Mm-hmm.
predicting things. Maybe it's all in one.
Yeah, that could definitely be. And we're talking about these neural networks, right? And we're talking about, what we always hear is like how to train AI. And I find that a very interesting terminology, because I'm like, how do we do that? Like, how would, like, us norms, let's call it norms, do that on a daily basis? And how would you, for instance, do that when you train an AI model?
Well, on daily basis, the answer is no. You cannot train your AI model, unfortunately. Sorry. Uh, but the thing is, the actual training process of AI
Mhm.
model, it takes millions of dollars
Yeah.
and a lot of time at the same time, and a lot of resources like
Hmm.
infrastructure, video cards, we know, and all of this. It's like there are AI labs
Hmm.
that doing this for like a lot of time for each model, and it's financed by huge companies
Yeah.
with millions and billions. So you cannot train this.
Hmm.
But at the same time, the outcome of that their training process, It's that file, its model, as I mentioned before,
Mm-hmm.
but it's not ready yet
Yeah. Okay.
for
Yeah.
being consumed as an end user. We cannot ask to this model relevant questions like
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT. We're
Mm-hmm.
asking it and get a response. There is a next step which is much more cheap. Like it's cheaper, it's faster, it's fine-tuning
Mm-hmm.
process. You've probably heard this term. And this is when it's the process that makes model be domain specific.
Mm-hmm.
So if we want to take model and we want this model to be friendly assistant or I don't know, your best friend, fine tuning will yeah, it's sad
It
at the same
happens.
time,
It
but
happens. Yeah.
it could be, yeah.
Yeah.
So then you will train, like fine tune, not train, fine tune the
Yeah.
model in that way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's also quite complex process, but
Mm-hmm.
it's more realistic for the companies, or
Mm-hmm.
companies, sorry, when they take the model and they want this model be hosted in their company infrastructure
Mm-hmm.
for their own business reasons without connecting to third parties like
Mm-hmm.
ChatGPT or Gemini. So they want to take this and they want to fine tune this, and they do it. It's much less expensive, as I
Yeah.
mentioned, but it's still the process. It's
Mm-hmm.
quite engineering process that requires good brains and good processes for this. But for us daily users, if I want the model to work for me, there are different ways to do this.
Mm-hmm.
The most simple way is you just go to ChatGPT, create your own project, or you create your own GPT, it's called, and give it
Mm-hmm.
instructions. Right?
Yeah.
For end users, most of end users, it's pretty much enough. And the most, not most, all the providers, AI providers currently, they support this. In
Mm-hmm.
some way, just go there, their website, and you are able to instruct the model to behave the way that you would
Mm-hmm.
like it. So for more advanced usage,
Mm-hmm.
there are techniques. For
Yeah.
example, RAG, retrieval augment
Mm-hmm.
generation. So this is not also training, it's more also instructing.
Mm-hmm.
But the way how it instructs, it's um, when you have some data, for example, your company documentation,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or some instructions or whatever, you have files with data, and you want AI to be aware of this when you're communicating with AI.
Mm-hmm.
You still can use your first option, just upload these files and ask questions, which will work. But
Mm-hmm.
if there are many files, you will probably hit the limits, or we will jump to hallucinations, which could be also possible. So shortly, RAG is the way how to optimize some data
Mm-hmm.
for being, I don't know, more searchable by AI, if I
Mm-hmm.
may. So it's like connecting the data the way that AI easily understands.
Okay. Yeah.
Because raw data, raw files, it's more like for us, for humans,
Mm-hmm.
if we're talking about PDF files, for example. Um, yeah, there is one more. It's like between fine-tuning and this RAG and other similar techniques. It's called reinforcement learning.
Mm-hmm.
And I actually participated in one. It works. It usually involves human.
Mm-hmm.
It's when we can adjust model parameters based on awards, and these awards provided by humans. For example, we have a kind of raw model,
Mm-hmm.
and we want this raw model to be more um, gentle in responses,
Yeah.
right? And we can feed it some questions, one,
Mm-hmm.
two, three questions, and ask it to generate two or three responses. And humans are possible to, like, we are able to just read this responses and pick, okay, this is more gentle.
Mm-hmm.
What, because of that and because of that. And when we submit this answer, this choice, it's like a word. Model did good in this way, but not that and that.
Yeah.
So this allows, it's like I don't know, we are training ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You always understand what you did good or bad based on the feedback or based on outcome, right?
Mm-hmm.
And next time you will do better because of
Yeah.
this. I hope all we do
Some
like
people do,
this.
some people don't.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, and this reinforcement learning, it's also cheap compared to training process, but it involves humans and many iterations, like many questions, many humans involved to understand what actually a model does good or bad. And all these responses are feed into this model
Mhm.
just to adjust its parameters.
Interesting. These past 5 minutes, I've been writing down so much stuff because like I I'm kind of like a bit of our customers. Like I know about AI. I use generative AI if I need to know where I have to go or where the closest secondhand shop is. But how it's trained, and I really like that you're like I really have a good idea of how it's done right now because for me and for a lot of other people it's like you hear the words train AI and it's like okay, and how? And sometimes, for instance, when you do use ChatGPT, for instance, and you type something in, you do get the two choices. I don't know if the people who are
Yes.
watching um, probably have experienced that. You get two options of replies, and you choose the one that you think is the most appropriate. You've been training it, people. You've been training
Probably, most likely,
it.
yes, yes. And it's like there are services and labs, let's say,
Hmm.
when there is actual the purpose of these services to
Hmm.
ask other people to work with such models and provide the feedback on different responses.
Yeah,
It's like the purposely made thing. But yeah, having this in part of just your chat, like random chat GPT response, I mean, it's smart.
it's
You,
very
you don't
smart. Yeah.
you don't need to build services or pay money to people for doing this. You just
Yeah,
gently
it's
ask.
just yeah, just ask
Yeah,
people who are using it. I find it very interesting because we're always talking about like use AI, but always have that human last step. We always think that we're just talking, for instance, about hallucinations, which I just find a very interesting concept. But have you seen a lot of AI hallucinations? So AI hallucinations, if you want to explain first what it is, and have you experienced it, and is it just really out there?
of course, of course. I
Mm,
think everybody experienced this. Not everybody noticed this.
yeah.
Sometimes it's quite hard.
Mm-hmm.
Even me, I'm like as experienced user, I still sometimes fall into this. But how I prevent this,
Yeah.
I'm just doing fact checking,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like I just go to other models. I do just my own search, right, using search engines.
Yeah.
Um, this fact checking it helps,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't always know that it's the hallucination. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's obvious. Sometimes you just see the some weird words in
Mm-hmm.
response or some unrelevant information, and it's like, oh, okay, it doesn't make sense. I will go to check again.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes uh, it just I mean AI how it responds to us right now, like ChatGPT again, it does everything to satisfy you.
Yeah.
And again, I like comparison with humans. If you have some person that you hired and basically this person wants to do the best for you
Mm-hmm.
as your employer, right? It will try to do the best, even if it's not that best in reality. So it tries to satisfy whatever I ask.
Yeah.
It's a great question.
Mm-hmm.
And you could fall in this confidence. You could feel
Mm.
that okay, this response is really good, and yeah, probably it's right. But it, I don't. There is no technique to prevent this.
Mm-hmm.
You just shouldn't trust this the way as you will not trust the hired person, especially if it's let's say junior level,
Hmm.
right? You cannot you still expect that this person will learn more and
Yeah.
practice more on this field. And if you ask some questions, you should expect that there could be mistakes.
Yeah. That's it.
So
That's
this is
very
the
good.
way
Yeah.
how to, like, if you think about this, if you remember this, it should be fine.
Hmm.
Uh, at least do not do any decisions based on medical responses or something like this. No, no, no. It's better to still go to professionals for this help. But why it happens? Um, Continuing comparing with humans.
Hmm.
Imagine your day, and it's like the day when there's too much things happens
Like today.
at work. Like today, to me as well. But so many topics, many meetings at
Mm-hmm.
work, maybe some issues, some incidents,
Mm-hmm.
plus family calls you for some help, and you're just overwhelmed of all of this information. And there is one last meeting at work after all of this, one last meeting at this day, and there is a question asked to you, and your response, when you respond, you just, I don't know, make mistakes, misspelling something, right?
Yeah.
You just tired.
Hmm.
Tired, or you overwhelmed with information because you are thinking right now about multiple things
Hmm.
simultaneously. And sometimes, I mean, we do these mistakes and we could be not that focused on this particular topic. We
Hmm.
just, our brain thinks about everything right now.
Hmm.
So this is how basically causes hallucinations in AI. AI has context window. It's called
Hmm.
the context window. It's a term that um, basically stands for a limited, finite space, let's say, of information, like container of information that could be fit into the AI in one conversation, let's say.
Yeah.
Because as our brain also, as I mentioned before, we cannot hold all of this, all the information, all the tasks. We
Hmm.
should be somehow focused,
Yeah.
right? The same AI, we cannot get like all 1,000 files and feed it to the AI and just give me feedback on all these 1,000 files. It's too much. So when it takes too much information and we ask some specific questions about some particular document or particular moment in our conversation, it starts hallucinating. It's too much for it.
Hmm.
And yeah, it starts in mixing data. For us, for humans, it's still like we're still much better than AI. I hope. Yeah, it's still, but we're still much better because we more understanding, like we have motivation, we have
Yeah.
reasoning, we have intention to do something, right?
Hmm.
We have our goals, life goals that cannot be overwritten easily through the
Hmm.
day, right? This keeps us like focused.
Yeah.
For AI, you just every time when you open new conversation in ChatGPT, it's like you are hiring a new person,
Yeah.
completely new junior level person
Hmm.
to do whatever you ask for. You start a new conversation, you hired another one. And if you hire real junior developer, software engineer, or assistant, whoever you hire right now, and try to feed like 1,000 tasks in one day, you will have the same hallucinations problems.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I really, really like your real life analogies because it totally makes sense. It absolutely makes sense. This is also my last meeting of the day, and probably yours too.
I hope we are not
I don't think
hallucinating.
we're
So we're like,
hallucinating.
yeah.
We're very focused, very focused. Um, but yeah, like I find the hallucinations very interesting, and like we're talking about AI and the kind of issues and vulnerabilities that come with it. For instance, there was a story about AI poisoning, which I like. I just want to write like some kind of thriller book about AI poisoning. Don't know what yet, but what is AI poisoning, and what are the risks of, for instance, of AI poisoning?
Um, Yeah, I'm just thinking like I just got the thought in my mind that hallucination is the least of problems
Yeah.
in AI in using AI. I'm just understanding there are so many vulnerabilities, including poisoning,
Yeah.
and hallucination is like easy. It's not
Yeah.
even the problem comparing to others. Uh, if we talk about poisoning,
Hmm.
it's something that remember models trained based on internet data.
Hmm.
How like confident you are to tell me that most of information in the internet it's good information.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
you got
Yeah.
this point.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So here's the thing. Imagine that I build a website. I understand how some particular model works
Hmm.
behind the scene, right? I'm just good engineer in this point, for
Yeah.
example, which is not true. But still, I understand this, and I know that some models are trained right now based on some internet data,
Yeah.
or they will be trained soon.
Hmm.
And I put some website
Hmm.
with really crap bad information with bad instructions or whatever. So it's the only goal of this website is to feed this piece of information into the model while it's trained by these large companies.
Hmm.
And there are multiple ways could be used this. So
Hmm.
the model trained using my bad data,
Hmm.
which means that probably I have the plan for this. And probably there are, for example, certain words like secret phrase that could activate the model to behave completely differently. For example, if the model has access to my Gmail, we have Gemini, it has access to Gmail,
Yeah.
other models also have connections to Gmail. And if I write some specific words by intention or by mistakes,
Hmm.
these words could trigger the model to start some specific instructions. For example, get all these emails. It already has access to emails, my
Hmm.
emails. Get all these emails and send them using this link. Easy. Model is poisoned. This is why it's called poisoning because it's poisoned. And
Yeah.
I'm not even sure that there are ways to prevent this after training.
Hmm.
Maybe there are, but I'm not that
Hmm.
deep into this topic. So the
Wow.
poisoning is basically put some bad information in the model while it's trained.
That is scary in whole different ways, and that is definitely something more concerning than getting the hallucinations. What do you think? Because there's so many vulnerabilities with AI, and we don't want to overwhelm the human computers, the human human intelligence. What would be for you the what would you worry about the most the of issues that AI can present?
I'm not that worried about AI as technology
Hmm.
because it's still human in the loop. I
Hmm.
personally, it could be like different opinion, but I personally don't feel that AGI, it's that real AI that could take like Terminator away our world. I don't believe in this. At least me, it's my personal opinion.
Hmm.
What I'm scared more is the way how it's used
Yeah.
because with security especially field there's this cat and mouse game
Yeah.
always, and there's like this is completely new technology to all of us. Yes, it exists many years, but the hype around this and usage by not only people but also companies
Hmm.
is so huge, and there are bad actors
Yeah.
and they always
Always.
trying to find the ways, and we are at Malwarebytes always trying to find the ways how to prevent their
Yeah.
attacks on like regular users who just want to ask recipe for
Hmm.
cake. Yeah. So I'm
Exactly.
afraid of the field, how it's used basically by bad actors.
Yeah. There's always
But
these rotten
technology,
apples.
I hope it will raise, and it helps me every day. I
Yeah.
mean, I hope it will be better every day.
I genuinely hope so. For instance, one of the things that I don't use AI a lot, especially not as a content writer, but um, one of the things that I use it for is I live in Germany, and German bureaucracy is just, I
I
don't know,
heard.
like it's so difficult. So if I have to get children's allowance and I have to go to 17 million websites to see how I do it as a foreign national that works for a company that's based in America, it'll take me days, if not months, to get it sorted. And
After
if
you
I,
watching all these ads while you're
yeah,
searching also,
exactly,
yeah. And then maybe you will find answers. Maybe.
maybe. Um, but I put it in ChatGPT, and like I have the answer. Like I don't always have the time to go through all these websites, so it does help me in on that kind of basis. And I know, for instance, just a quick side note because we're almost out of time. One of the things that I love about AI is that it makes things accessible for people. Like one of my favorite actor comedians, he's blind, and he was talking on his Instagram recently about how he uses AI to get dressed properly, that he doesn't have like weird color because he loves that the colors match, and that he can just ask AI what color is this, and he's like, it's a whole different world for me. So, and I think that might be something we can talk about in our next episode as well. Like the I think we need another 17 million episodes on this, but um, there's so many great things that we can do with AI that we just couldn't do before, or is not as efficient as before. And I think I'd love that. I'd love to talk about that next time as well, if you're up for it, Vladimir. Um,
It would be great.
yeah, I think it will be fantastic to go through these real life stories about, like, you know, how AI has improved people's lives in ways that we could not even we didn't even think about, for instance. Um, yeah, I think we're at time again. We were saying half an hour, not more, 2 minutes past time. But thank you so much. Like again, Vladimir, I think your strength and power is that you make these things that just seem and look very complicated. You make it so much more real for us, at least for me, and I hope for the people who are watching as well. We get a little bit
I hope
more of
so.
an insight of how these things work. And thank you so much for that. And the next time is going to be in about 2 weeks. We're going to have an actual live, three times live from Tallinn. Because Vladimir and I will be in the same room actually talking about AI. I'm very excited about it because it's going to be even better than it is right now. Because I think being in a room and having these conversations is always a little
We
bit.
should book, I don't know, 5 hours. 5 hours
Yes.
for the meeting
If
room.
everyone that is watching right now that wants to join, just take a day off.
Yeah,
Just sit
easy.
down with a few cup of coffee with like a thermos full of coffee, and we'll guide you through the rest of AI, and we will not stop until we've covered everything, which will be probably in 23 or something like
Yeah, we have
that.
years.
Years. Anyway, thank you so much, Vladimir. This was great again. Thanks everyone for watching. If you have any questions for us, or if there's anything you want us to cover next time or the time after, we don't know, let us know and we'll be happy to do that. Thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one. Have a good one. Bye. Mm-mm.